To start, a normative ethical theory is a theory that serves to articulate and advocate an ethical code, or in other words, to provide justifiable and reliable principles to determine what is moral and immoral behavior. The most important principles that comprise a normative ethical theory are moral standards. A good example for this would be the Golden Rule, which is where we get treat others the way you want to be treated. On the other end of the spectrum are act-based ethical theories, also known as deontological theories. Act-based theories pay strong attention to the rightness or wrongness of the actions themselves. Whether the situation is good or bad depends on whether the action that brought it about was right or wrong. In act-based ethics, right takes priority over good. An example of this would be the act of protecting your family, which is the best rational choice in your situation, but not the morally best thing to do. Moving on, according to J.S. Mill's utilitarianism, the central theme is that the actions are right in proportion as they tend to promote overall human happiness. This means Mill focuses on consequences of actions and not on rights or ethical sentiments. Mill focuses on the fact that the one thing that truly has intrinsic value is pleasure. He also focuses on the basis that actions are right as long as they promote happiness and wrong if they promote unhappiness. Basically, he wants everyone to have the belief that everyone's happiness counts equally. Mill's position, or supreme principle, was most commonly called qualitative hedonism, and stated that all pleasures have equal intrinsic goodness in quantity, intensity, and duration. As for Kant's deontology, his main focus, or supreme principle, was his theory of the categorical imperative. Kant defined imperative as any proposition that declares a certain action or inaction to be necessary. A categorical imperative would denote an absolute, unconditional requirement that exerts its authority in all circumstances. He also argued of a hypothetical imperative, which is used as a means to an end and comes with an it factor, it clause. Kant argued that the highest good must be both intrinsically good and good without qualification. He concluded that there is only one thing that is truly good, a good will chosen out of a feeling of moral duty. He also expressed that all human beings have access to reason, or an innate human ability to think independently of instinct, circumstance, and preference, and this is the identifier that differentiates us from the animal kingdom. In conclusion, I believe Mill offers a better normative ethical theory because he uses moral decisions and their ability to create happiness to justify them. Mill believed in morality as a system of social rules which is always permissible in society. His theories focus strongly on moral decisions, and that's what I believe is the most important. Kant's theory ignores consequences and leaves the decisions in the person's hands. A great example is the trolley problem, which falls under the paradox of deontology. The principle of permissible harm rules out throwing a person in front of a train, but the consequence is that 5 innocent people die.